Proclamation session is now called to order. At this time, we'll look to our city manager to call for our invocation and our pledge of allegiance.
Let us stand, bow your heads. Oh, Heavenly Father, we come now thanking you for waking us up this morning. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving us a reasonable portion of health and strength. We ask that you forgive us for our sins and trespasses against you. Heavenly Father, teach us the law of love as you commanded in your New Testament, that we should love one another even as we love ourselves, and most importantly, love you. We ask, Heavenly Father, that you be with the commissioners during this work session, lead them, guide their thoughts, and let everything be done decently and in good order. These blessings we ask in the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We want to thank our city attorney for our invocation and our pledge of allegiance. At this time, we look to our city's clerk for our guest. Mr. Clerk, do we have any guests tonight?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, we have 4. First guest is Miss Barbara Seidman. You may approach the podium, Ms. Seidman. She's speaking to us about precinct consolidation. Ms. Seidman, 3 minutes.
Okay. Mayor, Commissioner, I want to speak about the consolidation of District 1 precinct.
Okay, would you give us your address as well?
My address is 515 Bay Street, Waycross, Georgia.
Very good. And you want to speak about consolidation of the
Yes.
polls?
I feel that there's 2 precincts already at the city auditorium. We shouldn't have 3 precincts in one place. And it shouldn't be determined by one person almost falling at the polling place that was in place if they was not at a handicap place, because they know they're here at risk when they have mobility problems. And we need to keep the precinct somewhere else with handicap access and not consolidate the 3. Because all people over in that precinct can't get to the city auditorium. And they should be a precinct over in that district where they can get to vote. So that's my view about it, and that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Clerk, do we have another guest?
Our next one is Dr. Earl Martin, 902 Elizabeth Street, and he's here to speak about this special election. 3 minutes, Dr. Martin, please.
Dr. Earl Martin, 902 Elizabeth Street. I see that it is on the agenda, but I want to emphasize last week I went to the county election board and related to the special election that will be called, and they have made it perfectly clear it was up to this body to make the decision about when the election would occur, and I just encourage you to expedite that as much as possible. And from what I understand related to the rules that has related to the Secretary of State site in that situation, the soonest that would be in June. We know that we have had an experience where we had a vacancy which seemed to last quite a long time just in the recent past, and I know the people of the District 4 would benefit from someone to be able to sit on this commission, to be able to represent their interests along with everyone else. And thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. We now have Mr. Kevin Adderley. Mr. Adderley is here to speak about voter precinct. Mr. Adderley, please state your address. And
Kevin Adderley, 809 Darling Avenue. I won't be in front of y'all long, but I will say that I would like for us to be able to vote at the city auditorium for District 1. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Clerk?
yes, we have Miss Marion Adderley, and she is here to speak about voter precinct as well.
Okay.
Ms. Adderley, please state your name and address, and 3 minutes, please.
Yes, my name is Marion Adderley. I live at 809 Darling Avenue, Waycross. And I would like to say that I would like for them to put the voter precinct to the city auditorium. And that's all I would like to say.
Thank you, Ms. Adderley.
Thank
you. Okay.
And for our last one, we have Ms. Eunice Dixon. And she's here to talk about the voter precinct. Ms. Dixon, as you approach the podium, please state your name and address, and 3 minutes, please.
Eunice Dixon, 1207 Emma Street. I'm here to talk about District 1 and this changing of combining, consolidating, or whatever they want to call it. But I went over and talked with the Board of Education, spoke with the people right before when they were going to vote the last time, and they are doing the best that they can over there, and that's inadequate. So if it's inadequate and people are complaining about it, and we have people that spoke and said that they would like it to be moved to the city auditorium, then maybe we should consider that. Because before Commissioner Davis passed, he and I had that conversation. So that should be a consideration, that District 1 consolidate, if that's what you want to call it, but just have it at one place, and that be C.C. McCray City Auditorium. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Hearing that we've had 5 guests speak regarding 4 of them on the precinct and 1 on the special election, we are considering those things tonight, so that's in our agenda. And that takes me to where we are now. We're going to continue our agenda, but I'm going to turn the remainder of our agenda over to our city manager, who will conduct our business. Now, just as a reminder, when you get up, always acknowledge me. That's part of your requirement in order for us to move forward, even though I'm now turning it over to the hands of our city manager. So at this time, Mr. Rayford, it's in your hands.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before we move into the actual session, Mr. Mayor, I would like to introduce the ESG. They have selected a program manager effective today. Is Mr. Lake in here? Mr. Lake, if you would. Mr. Lake started work today as the program manager for ESG. We'll meet this week sometime to lay down priorities and concerns and issues. He is familiar with the city, as you all know. His better half works for us at this time. We're looking forward to having the program manager here from Waycross. I'm pretty sure that he will, because it's his home, take a vested interest in making things better down there, ESG. So I just want to introduce him today. Do you want to say any words, Mr. Lake, or you want to wait till you?
Like you said, I'm here. I'm ready to get started. I've only been here 2.5 days so far, but I'm looking forward to it. Put my best foot forward. Try to learn everything I can, do everything I can to make everything go smooth as possible. Make everybody as happy as I can.
Well, we're glad you're here, and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lake. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we're moving to the session. At this time, we have no travel and training schedule requested this time. We'll go ahead and move into the plan and information session, starting with bids, which we have 2, and they will be presented by Ms. Jackson, Procurement Officer.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners,
Ms. Jackson?
Purchasing has 2 items before you this evening. The first one is for, and I apologize, it is actually 5 surplus vehicles, or we're asking to surplus 5 surplus vehicles. There were 6. The 6th one is actually being transferred from one department to another, so it's only 5 that we're asking for surplus. There were 5 vehicles coming from the Public Works Department. They are no longer serviceable, and we are asking that they be surplused so that we can sell them on Gov Deals.
Okay. Well, with that, I'll look to the commission to get a consensus, and I'll start with District 1.
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
We have consensus.
The next item on the agenda is for the 1200 College Street property. This property has been owned by the city since 2001. It was approved for surplus at the April 2nd meeting of 2024. This property is approximately 9.09 acres, and it has been listed with Gateway Realty. We have received an offer on the property, and we are asking that the commission review it, and I am not sure if the commission wants to.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, we have to go into executive session for that offer, and we'll do it today.
Very good. So for us now, this is more about information, and then we'll go into our executive session. Coming out of it, we'll make a decision as far as consenting.
Correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the discussion items. Mr. Mayor, the vision and the mission has not changed. And once again, I'll pause there for those watching to read it. For those not familiar with the mission and vision, it is on the website and the Facebook page as well for those who do not know. Priorities remain the same, Mr. Mayor. Infrastructure, services, quality of life, city workforce. Priorities further broken down, still remain the same. City 10-year plan still remains the same, Mr. Mayor. I will highlight we have moved into the midterm. That will be the yellow area for those looking online. I'm going to read a few bullets out of there just to familiarize everyone with what we got going on now. As part of the strategy brief 2 years ago, my 2-year mark starts in March. We are implementing updated programs, policies, ordinances, and procedures. We're performance tracking now, so we do have performance measures in place at this time. Of course, we're still improving our standards-based workforce. The automation of our IT systems and programs. I think the information system director stated this summer everything should be complete with the IT changeover and the training as well. Of course, we're still researching and trying to design a different fund infrastructure priority strategy based off of our failing infrastructure. As I mentioned in previous meetings, it is hard to keep up with this, but we are looking at different ways to fund it. So we do have, as an example, the Corps of Engineers and GDOT going to assist us in some of this funding. So we look forward to that part when it comes available to us. And then, of course, to continue to maintain the quality delivery of city services. Mr. Mayor, do you or the commission have any questions on midterm objectives?
Just one quick question from me, and then I'll look to the commission. And the question is, at this point, you made reference to having possibly GDOT help us with infrastructure. What is the actual place that we're getting our funding for infrastructure now for the citizens to know?
Yeah, so various locations, Mr. Mayor. Of course, we have the SPLOS and T-SPLOS to a certain degree and the TIA. But as far as GDOT, and this is still pre-decisional, I did brief to the commissioner a few meetings back about them possibly doing U.S. Highway 1 for us. Like I said, that would save us tens of millions of dollars because they would complete the, of course, doing the pavement and everything, but they also do the infrastructure underneath, which we cannot afford, just to be honest with you. So part of that would be it going from 2-lane to 1 lane with a center turning lane, but that makes sense as it would be identical to Albany Avenue. It would be the same process. When you tie in both overpasses at the end of each one of those, at the county-city line, it would make things just move that much faster in the city. And once again, that would be cost-free to us moving forward, and it will allow us to focus funding on the tie-ins on those streets. Definitely US 1, you're talking about, I think it's Alley Street and a few other streets that we continue to have problems with. But it will give us more funding to address those areas.
Very good. So what you've said, just in summary, is that there are 3 funding streams that we're utilizing presently.
Yes, correct.
one of which happens to be the SPLOST, which is a special local option sales tax.
Yes.
Then the T-SPLOST, which is the transportation special local option sales tax. And then the TIA,
Correct.
which is I believe that's dealing with our Infrastructure or Improvement Act.
Correct.
So those are the important things. So just in case someone is out there not aware of how we've been doing it and what we're looking forward to doing, they can do some research from these three areas.
Correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay? Commissioner, I open it up. Did you have any questions? District 1?
No, sir.
District 2?
No, sir.
And District 5?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And next we'll move into our first agenda on the discussion item is going to be the City of West Cross voting map update. I'm going to turn this over to the city attorney, and I'll follow up once he completes his portion of the brief.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, we updated the commission at the last meeting, I believe, regarding the Supreme Court decision regarding District 4. And as you know, the issue in that case was whether or not to use the 2005 voting map or the 2011 voting map. And the court ultimately decided that the 2005 voting map, which was used, is the one that should stand because the 2011 voting map had not been filed with the Secretary of State and the Clerk of Superior Court, and that map could be used once it is appropriately filed. And this commission adopted Ordinance 1107 back in 2011, which actually adopted that 2011 map based upon the 2010 census data. And at this juncture, in order to use the 2011 map in accordance with the ordinance that was adopted by the City Commission, it would be necessary to pass a resolution, which I prepared, basically where the commission would re-adopt the 2011 map and authorize the clerk of the City Commission to send that map to the Secretary of State along with a copy of the ordinance and a publisher's affidavit verifying that the notice regarding that ordinance was published in the local paper. And then also file a copy of it with the with the Clerk of Superior Court. And once that is done, then the 2011 map, as it was prepared in 2011, would be operable. I mean, the unusual circumstance here is that the 2011 map was used between 2011 and 2023. But the Board of Elections went to a digital format in 2023 and asked for a digital copy of the city's map. And instead of getting the 2011 map in digital format, they got the 2005 map in digital format. And that's how it came about that map was used. And the court upheld the 2011 map because the record did not reflect that the 2011 map had gone through all of the procedures to be activated. And so at this juncture, it needs to be activated by way of a resolution by the City Commission. And then if the City Commission is inclined to do so, we'll have the clerk send it to the Secretary of State's office.
With that, could I ask just one question of you? I know that you said that they upheld the 2011 map, but I know you meant 2005 map.
I'm sorry, 205, yes.
And with the statement, the question I would have here is, what do you need of us tonight for us to go ahead and make sure that that is ratified by this commission and then sent to our clerk, who will then send it to the Secretary of State, and also that ordinance and affidavit will go up along with to our Clerk of Superior Court?
That is correct. We just need consensus that it will be on the agenda for tomorrow
Okay.
to adopt the resolution that I've already prepared.
Okay. So with that, I'll just ask for consensus from those that are sitting. At this time, District 1,
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
We have consent for it to approve on our next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as a follow-up, we will, based off of the past, we will follow up with this at the following on meetings, just to make sure everybody has an update what these documents are. So,
Quick question for us, and I know I'm trying to get this in the hearing of the people for the most part, but mainly this question is, how long does it normally take for it to actually be activated? And if you're aware, and if you're not, I know I see our superintendent is here.
I am not sure, and I'm not, does the superintendent want to ask that question? If not, Mr. Mayor, I will follow up in the next.
He's right
meeting.
behind you.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, it won't take any time. Basically, that's just a formality that you must do, but once you approve it and you submit everything, it's approved. The state won't have to approve it or nothing. They just file the documents in the proper agencies and everything. So it'll be ready for this election coming up. Whether we have a special election in June or November, everything will be in place. And if you adopt the 2011 map, there will be any changes need to be made at all, no updating with the voter registration cards or anything like that.
Very good. Thank you.
So what we'll do, Mr. Mayor, we'll just have it on the next agenda. Just track it, make sure it's complete.
Very
We'll
good.
follow up.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the District 1 voting alternate location discussion. Just of those who are watching, it says here election location has changed for multiple reasons in the past, which is caused some confusion for citizens. Current location is the Wood County School Board. I know at the last meeting, the commissioner asked me to look at both of the locations being the school board or the city auditorium. I know there were some concerns with ADA compliance. There is ADA compliance at the auditorium. We are prepared to work with the election board for additional personnel to ensure that all those citizens who might be disabled or wheelchairs, those natives can get up our city ramps. At the same time, we also prepared with volunteers to assist in the same manner at the Ware County School Board. I know looking at the notes at the Ware County School Board, there was some discussion about the location of the room being not identified in a timely manner. I am prepared to work with Mr. Nelson and the school board to ensure that that area is identified, if that's the pleasure of the commission. But at this time, we want to go ahead and make a decision on that location so we can start preparing for the upcoming elections. And I pause there for guidance, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. With that, I'm going to go from 5 to 1 this time. I'm going to start with District 5. If any comments or statements regarding that, because right now what I'm hearing you ask is whether we're going to allow for the Ware County Board of Education continue to be that space or the Waycross City Auditorium. Do you need a consent on either the two tonight? That's what you're asking.
Correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mayor, for clarification is, we want to either be able to use the city auditorium continuously or go to the Board of Education.
Well, it seems as if the Ware County Board of Education is where it has been, District 1.
Mhm.
So what they want to do is move it to City Auditorium based on the responses given by the citizens. So what we're doing now is putting it up before the commission tonight so that we can put it on our agenda for tomorrow.
Okay. I have no objections to whatever Commissioner Roberts says. That's his district and his people's voice.
Very good. That sounds good. And I did that purposefully. So District 1, where would you like it to be?
Sir, if you don't mind, me saying,
And I don't mind.
I didn't take this job to try to take anything from District 1. If anything, I tried to take this job to help District 1. And with that being said, like I did see someone fall in the parking lot. And I think to really to keep the confusion down, I believe it would be best if we went to the city auditorium. And again, I would say that I'm not trying to take anything from District 1. If we can find somewhere in the future that could really help District 1, we could do that. But for right now, let's go to the city auditorium, make it easier. And if anybody need a ride, if anybody need any help, my team, we are more than willing to help get you to the polls and help you in any kind of way that we can. So I would like to say, with that being said, I will say we're going to the city auditorium.
Okay. With you saying that, then I ask District 2 to consent to what you've said and District 5 as well.
Oh, yes, sir, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And District 5.
Yes.
Yes. With that being said, Mr. Manager, we can go ahead and make it known that tomorrow's vote will be toward going to the city auditorium.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as stated earlier, we are prepared to assist all voters that go to the city auditorium if they have any ADA compliance needs or requirements, working alongside the election board. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the third discussion, which will be choose District 4 special election dates. At this time, I'll read off the dates to the commission and those that might be watching. Hopefully they can see the slide. Option 1, the election date will be 17 June. Advanced voting will be 16 May through 13 June. And if we need a runoff, it will be 15 July. Registration deadline for all those running will be 19 May. Option 2, election date will be 16 September. Advanced voting will be 25th August through 12th September, with a runoff on 14th October. Registration deadline will be 18 August 2025. Option 3, election date will be the 4th of November. Advanced voting will be 13 October to 31st of October. Runoff 2nd of December. Registration date will be 6 October 2025. These are the 3 dates, Mr. Mayor, Commission. Of course, I would recommend excluding September date time frame because it's too close to the actual November election. And as you know, because it's out of cycle, we'll be paying for this election. And right now, the closest date would be 17 June if we were going to do a special election.
Okay.
I'll pause there for consideration, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So we're going to look to the commission and get their recommendation. Option 1, which would be election date the 17th of June. Option 2 would then be 16th of September. Option 3 will be the 4th of November. Is there a suggestion from commission?
Mr.
District
Mayor.
5?
Yes, I have no problem with it being option 1.
Okay. Option 1 has been chosen by District 5. District 2?
Option 3.
Option 3. And District 1?
Can I give a response with this, Mayor?
You can?
Yes.
You know, I'm new to coming to this seat, and with all respect for Diane Hopkins, I feel like that she was very outspoken, and I feel like when we had this thing when it came to a vote, Commissioner Hopkins, I'm sorry, all due respect, Commissioner Hopkins was up here among us, and she made the decision when it came to a vote to not vote for it. So I feel with all due respect for her and all the hard work that she have done, I take option 3.
Option 3 by 2 commission, and option 1 by 1. Okay. And since there's no even split, I have no consent of any sort. So we're at a standstill here still. We need another commissioner.
Understood, Mr. Mayor. I would recommend, can we still vote to put this on the agenda?
We can put it on the agenda for tomorrow.
And then that time, hopefully, you have a full commission to go, and then we can kind of go from there to just put this to rest.
Okay.
And I understand all the observations and recommendations and considerations by the current commissioners standing here.
Okay, so rather than to give an option right here, what I will propose to the commission is that we confer and or consent to have it on tomorrow's agenda, and we'll make a decision then. So I'll start with District 1,
Yes, sir.
District 2, to put it on the agenda tomorrow to make the decision,
Yes, sir.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
it will be on the agenda for tomorrow.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the commission retreat biannual dates. As you know, Mr. Mayor, we selected the dates last year for April 11th and 12th and October 10th through 11th. Those are both Friday and Saturday, so I want to let the commission know now so everyone could prepare for those dates coming up. And these will be consistent with the dates that we have moving forward. All of the directors are aware of these dates and they are committed to these dates, so we shouldn't have a problem. All we have to do now is get with the GMA and schedule the facilitators for those dates.
And each of those dates will be on a Friday and a Saturday.
Correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Do you need consent for that?
I would like to say yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. With that, I'll go to each district. District 1,
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have consent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to a water and sewer meter update. And this is going to be quite lengthy, Mr. Mayor, so I won't read all of the bullets. The commissioners, you have a copy of the letter that I sent, reference all of these dates and actions that we have done over the last 2 years with the meters. And for the citizens watching, the video should be up, as well as the notes if you have concerns about what's been going on with the meters. But I'll briefly summarize this. So, without reading the slide, Mr. Mayor, as you know, we've had a meter problem roughly since 2016 when the meters really started failing. We made some decisions to go with a company to replace those meters. That company in turn declared bankroll and pretty much went out of business at the time. From 2017 pretty much to 2020, we went back and forth about trying to get the issue resolved, which we could not get it resolved. And you can see that some of the numbers, roughly we had 1,500 to 2,000 meters not reading pretty much every read. So we had a lot of rereads. And we had some other issues with staffing because we had to go out there and do hard reads with personnel. So you notice it's been a long battle for a few years now. I'll leave it up for a little bit longer, Mr. Mayor, for everybody to read who might be watching those in here, this watching as well. And just for clarification, the question was asked. We did considering suing Ferguson as far as going out of business, but once they declared bankrupt, we could not sue them, and our contract was not with the Moeller, it was with Ferguson. That's why we could not take them to court. Next, Mr. Mayor, this is kind of talking about some other things that were done recently here, and it really is going over all the things that Ferguson and Mueller said the meters would do. Of course, they have not lived up to those expectations. It's been a complete failure. We've done a lot of things. I will give some shout outs to the ESG operations, because they've done a lot of work trying to fix this, replacing repeaters, transmitters, swapping meters out. But unfortunately, we just have a lot of bad meters. Eventually, we did end up doing some pilots. That's what we are currently right now with some pilots, and they have been working as of right now. But we're still not sure if that's going to fix the total problem because if we go to these new meters, well, the good thing is if we go to them, they can tie into Georgia Power's backbone as far as reading, which is going to be a lot helpful for us. It will cost some money that I mentioned a while back. I think that cost us, it's not on these slides, but I think it was $68,000 to ride on the backbone of Georgia Power's data system. So that's one thing that we'll have to consider if we go with these new meters. And once again, this is giving data what's been going on over the last, definitely the last 2 years when I got here. We started doing a lot of meter swapping, and to the public. We tried every scenario possible. We took working meters and put them in known bad meter locations. Like I said, we talked about the transmitters, the towers. We swapped out batteries. We did what we could do to kind of figure out what's going on, but at the end of the day, the meters provided and the backup meters they provide, they just don't work for whatever reason. So we are to this point now to where we are with this current trial and with this test period. It's gonna need a few more months to get tested, and once we get that data, we'll make a decision to go with these new meters.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let's go into more detail, Mr. Mayor, about. I say again to that last bullet there, people want to know. So on January 29th, we began the pilot meter study with Census, a new meter company. They can be read on Georgia Power's network or with their fixed base infrastructure. So like I said, We know that Georgia Power's network works. So that means ideally or theoretically our meters should work on their system. So and that cost I mentioned earlier, that's a one-time cost. And after that, to be maintenance charges. So right now, once this pilot is done, I'm gonna come back to the commission. I think we want to go this way because this fixes the problem. Moving forward, I know for our citizens, there has been a long, it's been a long time problem right now. I understand their frustration with some of their bills. Also, once we get that software updated, it'll help out with this as well because we have more capabilities as far as reading meters and identifying and letting customers know if they have leaks and things of that nature. The next thing here, Mr. Mayor, excuse me, I pause. Do you have any questions on the history or the commission?
I think we're aware of it. We've been struggling with this quite some time now, and as you made note of and alluded to, it's been since 2016.
Great. Yeah. So, with that said, Mayor, I am requesting to send this letter out. One of my biggest, most time-consuming situation for me is talking to customers about their meter situation, especially when their bills are probably more than they expect them to be. So what I want to tell citizens, we did identify a problem. So when the meters don't necessarily, when they stop working, we have been doing a base rate charge, and that can be confusing to our customers because they're actually using more water than what they're paying for. But because we can't really, because the meter doesn't work, can't really prove that. So we're giving them that base rate charge, which typically it's going to be around. When you put that in the letter, I'll make sure that's in the letter. Roughly around about $62. And the problem comes along is when the meter does start working, of course that charge is going to quadruple sometimes. So what I want to do is send these letters out just to make those customers aware who own the base rate right now. And that's probably about, I'm not sure the exact number, but it's somewhere, we have about 7,000 customers. It's probably about 2,000 on that base rate. I just want them to know what this means when you're getting the same bill every month. It does not mean you're using that amount of water. You're probably using more, but we have to charge you the base rate because the meter doesn't work. So it is a big problem. It is confusing. And once the meter does start working, it does cause a lot of problems for the citizens. So we're going to send this letter out. And for those watching, I just ask, for your grace on this. Like I said, it's been a problem for a long time. I think we finally got it figured out. But with that, once the meter start working, your bill's probably going to come up, not a problem, they're going to go up because you have been using excess water. So I have asked my team to kind of go back and give a water strategy out to everyone to let you know this amount of gallons, even though we have that list on the website for your half-inch meter and inch meter, how much I think 1,000 gallons should run. I don't think everybody's familiar with that. And we're going to try to show the general public what 1,000 gallons really means. That means you're taking 18 showers a day or whatever. And that way, customers can have a better understanding of their charges. And I'll pause there, Mr. Mayor, for any questions.
Commissioner, do you have any questions of the city manager? District 1,
No, sir.
District 2,
No, sir.
District 5.
No, sir, he covered it good.
We're good.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And like I said, we'll get that these letters out hopefully next week. And then, of course, we'll follow back up with the commission once we decide to make a decision on the new meters. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the budget outline timeline update. Of course, this is my area and the finance director's area. So beginning March, it'll be director input. That's when I meet with the directors, sit down and discuss their budget needs. And then 17th to 21st of March, that's when me and the finance director will sit down and do our input. I am making a few changes this year. As I mentioned before with the commission about life cycle and ordering stuff, put it in the budget already right now, replacement parts and things of that nature, so we don't keep getting caught up paying emergency prices. So you'll see a little bit of adjustment in the budget this year. There'll be a different line item in there, kind of discussing certain parts, various parts for equipment that we'll go ahead and purchase, regardless if we have an issue or not. We're gonna purchase those items every month, just to backload them. And at the same time, you're gonna see another line item. It's gonna be more catered to our contracted personnel on their spending as well. And I won't go into detail here about that with our ESG partners, but we have to do a better job of managing invoices outside of the regular contracted, the regular agreed upon contract. But you're gonna see a different line item with that too, just kind of to distinguish the two, for us to kind of better track where our money goes, where taxpayer money goes. Then, Mr. Mayor, on the 22nd of April, as agreed upon a while back, I will provide a COLA update. We should be able to tell by that time, once we get the sales tax in and the property tax in, about the COLA update for the workforce, and we'll do a separate briefing for that. And that's kind of tense right now, but that's the date that we chose. And then 23rd April, the 6th of May, 19th May, all 10 of dates right now, but those will be the actual budget presentation dates to the commission. And then we'll be asking for the budget vote on the 20th May, right before the commission meeting. I want to get those dates out now so everybody kind of can be, make sure that they're present for those meetings. And once again, Mr. Mayor, we will be sticking within the charter timeline. But I feel like by doing the budget a little bit different this year, you will be getting updates during each process. So once me and myself sit down, me and the finance director sit down with the directors, you'll get a budget book then, and then we'll kind of update it through each session. And last thing, Mr. Mayor, is not mentioned on here, but we are going to put together a list of all our spending to back the audit, so that all citizens can see any purchases over $10,000, and it's going to be quite lengthy. So I'm trying to maybe combine some stuff. So I'm gonna use pipes as an example. So if we spent, $800,000 on pipes last year, you'll see that line item what we spent versus we spent $10,000 on a 12-inch pipe, $8,000 on a 10-inch pipe, if that makes sense. But we want full transparency this year with the budget to show. Well, we won't be able to show where every dollar goes, because I'm not going to be able to show the $2 that we might spend on the water back here for the meetings. But I definitely want to show all our big purchases to the citizens so they can be aware of how the money is spent. And it should line up with the clean audit that we just passed last month. And I pause there, Mr. Mayor, for any questions on that.
Don't have a question, but just one quick suggestion for those dates that you have listed there. If you could have the administrator send invites so that each one of the commission and anyone who will be a facilitator or a functionary for this be able to hit that invite and it goes onto their calendars. That'll keep us from having individuals saying they didn't know.
Great, Mr. Mayor.
And that's all I have.
Okay. And Mr. Mayor, and in my notes, I forgot to mention this. With the commission's okay, I would like to maybe video some of this to let the citizens know how we do the budget discussions with some of the directors, just to get them a clue. It is a very detailed discussion. Of course, those numbers won't be solid until y'all vote, but I think just based off of Waycross 101, it'll be very important for them to really understand how much work goes to this budget. So if the commission's okay with that, I mean, maybe live streaming some of those sessions, I would like to do that as well.
Okay. What I can do is ask for consent for live streaming the budget process. District 1,
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
and District 5.
I think it's a great idea.
You have consent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the illegal dumping modification update. Mr. Mayor, if you're aware, a few months ago we had an issue in the county. I'm losing my track of thought. At the I think it's
Is this the lift station?
a lift station. But I want to make sure I said the correct one. It's the one off US Highway 1, Mr. Mayor, Commission. If you remember, we had I guess some confusion about what could be dumped there. Just for some background, Satilla Water and Sewer had gave a permit to a user to dump because one of our lift stations had lost power within the city, and they went there and just being up front, we talked about this before, they dumped at the wrong site, which is past the meter, and we can make a lot about that story. But just to prevent all that moving forward, I'm asking to modify the contract with Satilla Water and Sewer Region and make all dumping come to the water treatment plant. I can make that on my own, but I wanted to present it to the commission. Y'all can know what's going on. As far as that, I think this will prevent any misunderstanding, confusion, or whatever in moving forward. Some of our lift stations are unsecure. Some do have gates around them, some do not. So I know, looking at social media and just talking to certain citizens, that we do maybe have some other issues going on with illegal dumping. I think this way, at least the city, we protect ourselves make anybody who's has to permit to us or working with us come to the water and treatment plant to do their dumping. And I apologize if you have any questions on that.
Any questions, Commission? Only thing I can say is that this just keeps us in compliance with EPD and EPA.
Definitely does, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. We're good?
Okay. All right, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to an MOU for recreational programs and services. Mr. Mayor, this was brought to the commission body last year, and I don't have a slide on it. You should have a copy of, receive a copy of the MOU. Basically, it was the county letting us know they would no longer provide services to the two parks, or they wish not to provide services to those two parks that they negotiated with during the loss negotiations, as well as the swimming pool. At this time, we cannot pick up those two parks or that swimming pool. We don't have the funding to repair the pool. I know it's been mentioned that the pool has been repaired. I have not seen that yet. If I do see it, I will get back with the commission. But as far as funding for the programs in the parks, we can't pick up extra staff. I mean, so I don't know what this time what to do. I can meet back with the county manager and discuss further. Maybe develop a different type of plan, a joint plan if you like. But we just can't simply pick that up, especially when it was discussed during the loss negotiation that would be the split.
Okay, just a quick statement here. When we've already negotiated and we've already made those plans, then it's it is a situation there that someone's not keeping their end of the bargain, and we need to do what we're supposed to do. On the other side of that same note, we're going to need to have probably more meetings with county. Correct. So that we can have at least a quarterly meeting, if not quarterly, a biannual meeting, where we'll come in and talk and go back over some of these things. It's almost like people in general, when you chastise a child, not that I'm chastising anyone, but if you chastise a child, that child does well for a while. Then after a period of time, they go back to their old behaviors. Then you have to go back and re-chastise. In this case, we do know that we'd already made these discussions. We've already had these decisions made. And so I would suggest that you, as the city manager, talk to the county manager, being that he's new, that he may be made aware of what is a previous statement in our negotiations, and they need to keep their end of the bargain until that's a 10-year bargain. So I don't know if we need to have our attorneys along with you and the county manager talking about these things, but there needs to be something done in that regard. And that's all I have for that, because I'm thinking if we keep doing these kinds of things, it'll go from this to something else with SDS or something else at a service, delivery service that we have. So we do want to make sure that whatever we've said before, we keep our bar. Your word is your bond.
Mr. Mayor, what I'll do, Mr. Mayor, I'll circle back to the county manager and concur on your point about maybe doing a joint meeting with the county as well as the school board. We do have some other items that need to be discussed.
Right.
The overpasses and a few other things that continue to come up that we have not addressed as a community yet. So that might be a good time to discuss all of that with the citizens so they know that we all are tracking the same information and the same dates and times of those services that we have planned to come for our citizens. So I will follow up with him this week, Mr. Mayor, and I'll follow back up with the commission at the next meeting on what we discuss.
Very good.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we're going to the ethics update. We have two items here. Of course, the draft letter for the Sanders family, and then the ethics case 2024-001. And Mr. Mayor, what I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and provide the draft letter to the commission for consideration. I hope you can read that. If not, I can read it to you, Mr. Mayor.
Dear Sanders family, the city of Waycross sincerely apologizes for any and all disrespect displayed to your family and the memory of Kennedy. It was not our intent to make mention of the Sanders family named during our annual budget meetings. We recognize how multiple questions surrounding the use of the city auditorium by select commissioners were perceived as disrespectful and should have been executed in a more caring and professional manner. Your family made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our nation, and such sacrifice should never be pulled into what appeared as unprofessional and political. The city of Waycross will learn from this moment and do better moving forward, living up to the life and values displayed by Kennedy, and honor her memory accordingly. Additionally, we have discussed our actions internally and agreed as a governing body to never act in such a manner again, and to adhere to the same decorum we ask of all citizens. The City of Waycross will update the Sergeant Sanders proclamation and pass additional resolutions that specify the activities associated with the City of Waycross's Sergeant Sanders remembrance. The City of Waycross again apologizes for its actions in dishonoring the Sanders family's name. We hope in time you can find it in your hearts to accept our apologies and continue to work with us in creating a better and more perfect Waycross.
Mr. Mayor, that's the letter, the draft letter. If the commission wants changes, they can make them now or let me know at a later date. And as soon as we get approved for this letter, we will mail the letter out to the Sanders. We won't mail it out to the Sanders family. We'll present the letters in person to the Sanders family at a date to be selected in the near future. And I pause there for guidance on that, Mr. Mayor.
What I will suggest to the commission, we can either go ahead now and acknowledge this letter as what we will be sending to the family, and we can get a District 1, 2, and 5 vote tonight. District 1?
Yes, sir.
District 2?
Yes, sir.
And District 5.
Yes, sir.
We can send this out.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And the other item on this agenda, Mr. Mayor, is the case. I'm going to refer this to the city attorney for his remarks.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, this is in reference to case number 2024-001, Clayton Nelson versus Katrina Felder. As you know, the Board of Ethics made a recommendation that, well, first of all, they made a decision that there was a violation of the Code of Ethics by the respondent, Ms. Felder, and then they made a recommendation for prosecution in the city court. And this commission considered that recommendation at your January 7th meeting, and a majority of the commission voted to accept the recommendation of the Board of Ethics and refer the matter to city court. Now, since that time, we've been working on preparing the file for transfer to the city court. We have prepared the order that we'll ask the mayor to sign, transfer the case to city court, and the bulk of the time has been spent putting together all of the documents, all of the exhibits, all of the transcripts of every hearing, because everything that occurred doing this case has to be transferred to Superior, to the city court. And I met with Mr. Marquise, the assistant city clerk, today, and we spent about an hour just going through all of the documents that he's been working on for several weeks now. And it's probably about 6 inches thick, and it's going to get thicker because we have some additional documents to put in the packet. And but we expect that within the next 2 or 3 days, we'll have everything finalized and ready to transfer to the city court. And we will provide a copy to the commission, and a copy will be on file with the clerk's office as well.
And for us tonight, what would you need for us to do? I do know once all of those documents have been compiled, it'll be just my job to sign?
Yes,
okay.
That is correct. This is just an update.
Okay. Thank you.
You're correct.
Mr. Mayor, did the commissioner yourself have any further questions on that?
Commission, did you have any questions regarding this? Hearing none, we move forward.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we'll go ahead and move into the rest of the items. We have no privilege license renewals. We're gonna have 2 privilege licenses, and that's Grab and Go and Katie's Calf. We have no proposed ordinance at this time. We're gonna have 2 resolutions for proposal. That's a surplus property that we discussed, and the sale of property, as well as the voting map. So we have 3 resolutions. And
So
this time,
three
Mr. Mayor,
okay,
I will
very
turn it over
Okay,
to the city attorney, Mr. Mayor.
very good.
No further report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager, do you have a report?
I do, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I want to cover two things in my city manager's report. You did request feedback from the Waycross 101 municipalities course that we had here recently. These are the main two comments I received. Of course, it was too much information for 1 week. I think you attended, so you got that feedback while you were there. And then the budget was not discussed enough during the presentation. I will say to the commission, of course, we know 1 week is going to be, I said that in the beginning, you're not going to get full understanding of everything. We tried to give a brief overview of the day ins and outs of pretty much city operations. I think we did achieve that, but I fully understand these two concerns. One way to address both of them is we're going to go back and look at some of the information we provided and maybe either just sending out some white papers for citizens to kind of review prior to coming to the course, and when this is going to be every quarter. And the second, with the budget, I think once we start this current budget process, or maybe live streaming some of those discussions, it'll give them feedback on how the budget works. At the same time, for those who attended the course, they did get a set of notes, and if they looking, a set of slides. If you look at the notes, everything was in the notes that maybe should have been discussed in detail. Definitely the budget. And I'll pause there for any questions on that, Mr. Mayor.
I just understand you're saying this is a high-level overview, and that's pretty much what we needed to do. When you give it to the people, they're not going to get everything. It's going to be given in somewhat of a, not a deep dive, but you at least swimming.
Correct. And it was some good points too, Mr. Mayor, because we did get some good feedback on some concerns from our citizens on some of our charter definitions and verbiage, which we'll try to address over this next year. And then we got some feedback on other operations in the city as far as communication, why some things are not being picked up as fast as we would like it to be, i.e. the app. I would say this to everyone right now. Again, the app is the fastest way to talk to the city, period.
Mm-hmm.
Amongst anything else, once you put your information in the app, it directly goes to the person who's going to deal with it. I will see it. Some of the commission will see it. We all see it, but it goes to the person who's going to actually execute the operations. So, like a pothole, it's get done that same day versus maybe you call through me. It might take an extra day. So I just encourage citizens to go download that app and really learn how it works, because it is a great tool for you to get questions answered as well, and then get things done that in the past might have took longer than it used to. So next, Mr. Mayor, I think maybe Commissioner Nelson asked about start looking at the floss. I did. It is more complicated than I thought, because it's really another property tax relief. If you don't have the freeze in place, so I'm not sure how it benefits Waycross. I'm going to get with the tax commission, the assessor's office, and kind of get a better understanding. Because at the time I thought we could actually benefit from it, but like I said, right now I don't see how we benefit from using it, even the 1%, because it has a specific use it has to be done for. But this is like once again, a general understanding. I am trying to research the whole aspects of it, and I'll get with people a little bit smarter than me on this, and I'll come back at the next meeting with a better update. But I know this was asked before. I just wanted the commission to know I am researching it. It's just a little more complicated than I thought, or maybe it's not complicated, but what it's envisioned for is other, like us, is other things in place that do inhibit it from being properly utilized. So I'll pause there for any questions on my city report, Mr. Mayor.
Just a quick note about the floating local option sales tax. We had some conversation around this with the 537 cities. And one of the things that we've been having difficulty with is understanding this House bill as it's changing while it is sitting on the desks.
Yes.
So that's another space that we're having, but we do have lobbyists and also persons standing on our behalf in the legislature. One of the thoughts that was shared with us, and I can share this in conjunction with your presentation, and that is that even if both of the say for instance, these frozen portions are done, even if we did the same thing, if we allow for the other one, whichever is better for the city is the one that will be enacted, is what they told us.
Correct.
But on the other side of that, that would have to be the citizens' decision, but we will make a decision up here, and that's why we're having these public hearings, so that we don't get railroaded later down the street. So the better route to take is possibly to either opt in or opt out. That's what they said. If you want to opt in, you don't have to make any decisions. If you opt out, you do have to have public hearings. So in our case, if we were to choose not to, at say the third hearing, to opt out, it automatically opt in by
Correct.
March 1.
Yes. And one thing, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to highlight this. It's in the small print, but just even when discuss it with cross one-on-one, you know, our city operations are based off of taxation. And I think we do got a level of expectations. So anytime I know citizens want low taxes, low utilities, and all those things, but at the same time you do that, then operations is gonna deter too. I mean, it's part of it. And I think everybody has to understand that moving forward as we go down this road. Because like you said, Mr. Mayor, there are other House bills coming down. They provide some tax release, but and that's fine. I fully understand our elected officials doing that, but the city is not having any kind of way to generate money. So when we start doing that, then I just need everybody to understand you will get I'm not gonna say a failing service, but services will decline. That's part of it. So I just hope everybody truly understands this.
I definitely understand what you're saying. I mean, when it comes to this, if we don't have the funding coming in, it keeps us at a certain size.
Correct.
Or diminishes us. But if we have the funding coming in, we have ability to grow and to do other things. But thank you so much for your report.
Mr. Mayor, that completes the agenda items and the discussion items. We do need to go in executive session
Okay.
to discuss
We'll
the
entertain a
finances.
motion to go into executive session
Mr. Mayor,
for.
before you do that, may I consult with the manager about something he may want to bring to your attention?
Yes, certainly.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Call a meeting after that.
Mhm.
Do you want to announce a call meeting?
Yeah, I think we're gonna do it
Okay.
at the same time.
Because, March 1st, we won't meet again before March 1st.
Mr. Mayor, I forgot, we do have the Wednesday will be that final meeting for House Bill 581 we have, and we'll make a vote then, what y'all wanna do. So we won't have anything else after that. So,
Exactly.
yes,
Mhm.
so, and we haven't had anybody show up, I would say that right now, to any of the meetings. We did have some social media presence as far as questions. We did provide a lot of information, I felt, to our citizens. We did answer some questions that we could answer, based on what we knew. I think the county has opted out, and I want to say the school board as well.
Yeah.
Now, if you read the writing there, I mean, we probably should all got together and discussed all this, but, that will be the last meeting. Now, hopefully some citizens will come and just ask questions. Because like I said, as you stated, there are other House bills coming down that are very important to them as far as their property taxes.
Very
And
good.
thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
Mhm.
So he's announcing a call meeting essentially after that.
Right.
Yeah.
So the call meeting is tomorrow at
No, it's Wednesday.
Wednesday, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Thank you.
6.
6. Very good. All right. So we can entertain a motion for executive session. And on this executive session, is it personnel? Or what is it?
It's going to be finances to discuss that.
Finances,
That's gonna-
okay.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The motion from our Commissioner Nelson, a second from our Commissioner Bennett. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. We are now in executive session. Thank you.